Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, in this video we are progressing towards developing our core principles of positive Islamic cognitive behavior therapy. We have explained principle number 1, that is understanding the creator and the created universe. Principle number 2, the holistic transcendent nature of the human self. We have to have a good DMD understanding of this, in which I have just explained to you in the previous video. And the third principle is on being the Vicegerent of God in the universe, on being the Khalifah of Allah. This is very important because Allah created us not for meaninglessness. It is with meaning. We are His Vicegerent, we are His Khalifah. And what are our duties to be His Khalifah on this earth? And Allah has mentioned how we are going to lead life as His Khalifah on this earth. So there is a very detailed explanation in this book of Islamic Psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success on being the Khalifah. You go to chapter 3, there are many details there, but I'm just going again to read a few aspects of this idea. Okay, so this is based on being the Vicegerent of God, and why we need to understand this so that we can frame positive Islamic cognitive behavior therapy. Why? Humanity in the 21st century is in a state of emotional, mental and spiritual chaos as a result of the promotion of the secular, materialistic way of life. The collapse of moral, spiritual, societal values in modern societies are clear testimony that our 21st century civilization is moving towards self-destruction. The current dilemma, led by an excessive materialistic consumption and desire-driven life, which consequently create many problems in our global modern society. More and more modern societies are facing severe mental problems, such as drug addiction, alcohol and alcohol addiction, breakdown of family structure, free-for-all, hedonistic lifestyle, boredom and meaninglessness, and so on. All these social ills point to a decline in our contemporary civilization. However, we must be reminded that going back to the true teachings of Islam and practicing them as reading the Quran is the best way to address this problem. This is because Islam is the most comprehensive way of life in which our physical existence is made perfect according to the word of Allah. The concept of being the Vicegerent of God on earth is the most positive message for all human beings. This is the most positive ilmun nafs that you can understand. Allah created out of this divine compassion, mercy and love. He gave us this title of being His Khalifah on this earth, His Vicegerent on this earth. So we know our purpose in life is full of goodness that can lead to peace, happiness and success in this world and the hereafter. This positive message is unique and is a core message to all human beings that desire to know the innate nature of existence and their role and purpose in life. So this concept is mentioned in the Quran when Allah tells the angels in Surah 2 verse 30, "Behold, your Lord said to the angel, I'll create a Vicegerent on earth." They said, "Will you place therein one who makes mischief and shed blood, while we do celebrate your praise and glorify your holy name?" Allah says, He says, "I know what you do not know." So there is this elevation of our human self. And how are we going to practice this thing? There are basically three things that we have to do as a Khalifah of Allah. This is where our traditional scholars have summarized. What are the three things we must do in this life to fulfill our role as a Khalifah of Allah? One, the development of our personality in all dimensions. That is the first principle, is to make ourselves good. We strive to make ourselves good. So we move away from the evil and move towards goodness. And there are many aspects of goodness in which we can implement in our life. Alright? Two, the development of a godly society in which human beings can live in love, justice and wisdom, i.e. to help others to be good. So second principle of being a Khalifah of Allah is help others to be good. We cannot force them to be good. So there's no compulsion in religion and there's no compulsion in Islam. So the whole idea of spreading Islam by force, by compulsion, by sword, it is not Islamic. And the whole idea of this caliphate kind of thing under the brand of IS or whatever, these are aberration. These are the cancer that we must overcome, because they have brought a very destructive idea of Islam. That is not Islam. What they are preaching is just power based on their greed to establish something so that they can exert influence over other people. That is not Islam. So we have to understand this, because Islam, the second principle of being Khalifah of Allah is to help others to be good, to invite them with beauty, with wisdom, with beautiful explanation, And then when they accept Islam, alhamdulillah, if they don't expect, leave it to Allah, because our role is only to invite, our role is only to show within our life the beauty of this deen. If we cannot show the beauty of this deen to other people and they are not accepting Islam, it is our fault. But if we try, okay, so the first principle, always strive to make ourselves good. That is where I say the development of his personality in all dimensions, i.e. to make ourselves good. Number two, the development of a godly society in which human beings can live in love, justice and wisdom, i.e. to help others to be good. And number three, unraveling of the natures of mysteries for establishing his status of vicegerency and for comprehending the majesty and the glory of God. That is to make this physical world good. So our role is to make the physical world good. Now we have, for example, climate change. We Muslims must be on the forefront. The polar ice cap are melting. All right, the methane hydrate in the tundra region, in the seas, is going to come out. We're going to have methane. So within 10, 15 years, we have a runaway climate increase, which is unbearable. So what do you have? We have massive famine. So if we are not careful, this whole world will be destroyed, and billions of people. And there are many scientific papers showing that there is a 20% likelihood that within the next 20 years we'll have massive famine, where more than 3 billion human beings will be affected. Imagine, this is no joke. This is fantastically evil. So we Muslims must understand that we must keep this physical world good, as ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For what? For our own good. For our good of our children, our great-grandchildren. Imagine we leave this earth totally destroyed with billions of people dying of hunger because of the greed of this civilization, this current batch of human beings, including ourselves. As I'm talking to you, we are responsible. What do we leave to our children and our grandchildren? An earth that is ravaged by famine, an earth that is ravaged by climatic destruction, and an earth that is ravaged by evil, where society just breaks down, or a beautiful, loving and caring world that Allah has ordained. And that is the three purpose of our existence. So our responsibility as a Khalifah of Allah, the first responsibility of man as a Khalifah of Allah is to strive to make himself perfect in doing as he so. He needs to appreciate these following things. Okay? So I have explained to you that we have at the two levels of existence, and that whole explanation I have explained to you just now in the previous video give you a framework. So in this chapter we have a very long and detailed explanation. I hope you read this book, Post-Islamic Psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success. And we are developing the same framework for our cognitive, positive Islamic cognitive behavior therapy handbook, so that we can present it to the Muslim world, and inshallah the protocols and techniques that we have developed inshallah will be shared. And we encourage you to become our life coaches. Go to our website and learn how to be our life coach inshallah, and then do your little bit to develop this ummah as we face these terrible challenges in this 21st century. And we Muslims inshallah must help to make this world good, help others to be good, and make ourselves good. See you in the next video.